It is like both systems, modern science and Buddhist philosophy or Buddhist teachings. So they are looking for the objective reality, independent of the subjective influence. What is objective there? In other words, looking for the truth. Looking for the truth or looking for the reality. So independent of what you think, independent of what you learned, what is really out there, the reality. This is something common between these two disciplines. Then the next point of the similarity between the two disciplines is that both of them, they are looking for how to see this reality. It's not through dictates, not through dogmas, not through, the mimicking earlier teachers or earlier the saints or whatever. Is rather through reasoning. This is something which is a great common between Buddhist philosophy and modern science. In fact, one time when I was in Israel, I think it was 2017, I met a physicist, a brilliant physicist. Even from the point of view of the Buddhist logicians, he would be considered a brilliant person. And at one point what he said was that in this world only physics is education. It really shocked me. It really made me think, okay, this is too much. And I asked him why. He said that because in this world only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. Okay, then I felt more relaxed. That is not, going to the extreme. He has some reasons there. Then I told him that what the Buddha said, wise men and women and the monks, just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them into practice, not simply because you respect me. Then he remained silent for a few seconds and he said, oh, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. So this is something where we can say great similarity between modern science and Buddhist philosophy, that looking for the reality and the methodology that one resorts to is the reasoning. So these are the similarities. And now another part, the divergence. What are the points of divergence between these two disciplines, modern science and Buddhist philosophy? In the Buddhist concept of the reality, the whole phenomenon is classified into three groups. One is the evident phenomena, then the slightly hidden phenomena, and the very hidden phenomena. Three groups. The Buddha is explaining all three realities, whereas modern physics is confined to the evident phenomena and the slightly hidden phenomena, part of the slightly hidden phenomena. And then they cannot really touch all the slightly hidden phenomena, and they cannot even touch the very hidden phenomena. So these areas where the Buddha talked about the slightly hidden phenomena, which the modern science is not touching, and the very hidden phenomena, for example, law of karma, then for example, rebirth concept. So these things are something which today, in the future we never know. Today modern science does not touch these areas, particularly neuroscience cannot touch this area for the time being. My personal take on this is that modern science is an extremely rigorous system, and it is the strength, it is one of the treasures of the world today. So this is a treasure. Meanwhile, this is again the naivety can possibly come into being when we see that this is a greatly rigorous system. Doesn't mean that this explains every phenomenon, because the reality is that it is confined to the manifest phenomena and the part of the slightly hidden phenomena. So there, if the modern physics tries to expand its horizon of the analysis, horizon of the research, then it has to compromise its rigor. So as you expand the circle of the analysis, automatically the rigor disappears. So therefore I personally say that modern science has to remain as a modern science. It should not compromise its rigor by trying to incorporate or try to encompass the more areas of the research and analysis. Another point that we need to keep in mind is that modern science, modern physics, for example, earlier Newtonian classical physics, Newtonian physics. So there, from this, then after about like 200 years, with the advent of the quantum physics, relativity theory, then there's a sudden paradigm shift in the physics from Newtonian physics to the quantum physics. The concept, the basic understanding is very different. And of course, there's a ground, the Newtonian physics as a ground. On this, there are so many changes happened that what was once considered as the truth, as the theory, as the truth, is later on with the quantum physics proved to be wrong. With the quantum physics relativity theory, what Newton said was, some of them are proved to be wrong. So there's a paradigm shift happening. Likewise, we never know with the neuroscience today. Today, 2019, neuroscience does not have any room to explain rebirth or law of karma and so forth. But in the near future, we never know. As with the advancement, with the development of neuroscience is a system which develops so fast. So that way, we never know where it will go towards. It may head towards, say, the understanding the existence of a mind different from the brain. This is very, very possible. But for the time being, neuroscience is yet to reach to that level of the sophistication to touch that area. So these are the areas of the convergence and the divergence.